Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here to the Level 1 podcast for Wednesday, the 6th of September, 2023. We've got a very busy show. Excuse me. We got a lot to talk about today. Indeed, we've got a ton of game news that has happened. 4 different stories, I believe, that I'll be covering today of various different levels of importance and interest, so that'll be fun. Also, as a follow-up to yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to attempt to get my refund for Mortal Kombat 1 pre-order so that if I get that refund, I can buy the better edition and play the game early on the 14th of September instead of the 19th. I'm currently in the queue. That is correct. I actually tried to log in earlier before I started the podcast this morning to see if I could talk to the bot and what would happen. So I did this, and basically the bot said, all right, so we're going to determine eligibility. However, in order to do that, you got to wait in line. You have 289 people ahead of you. Do you want to wait? And I said, yes, let's wait. As of now, I'm 266th in line. So we'll see what happens. I'm leaving the window open as we do the podcast today. Live, I will tell you guys how this goes. It's going to probably keep counting down, and hopefully at some point during the show, I'll actually speak to a real person, explain the situation, and see what happens. Hopefully I'll get my refund, and then, like I said, once it's refunded, I'll actually get the better version of Mortal Kombat 1, and we'll start playing story mode on the 14th in just 8 days. Yeah, a little early. That'll be great, actually. A little early. Anyway, so, all that being said, everybody, welcome to the show. How you doing? Exciting day today. We got some follow-up on yesterday's gameplay streams, an update on today's content. Like I said, major news stories today that we're probably going to be talking about for a while. Therefore, the news segment will likely be the meat of today's podcast, which is great. To have a lot of news to talk about is always a good thing, right? I've also noticed, do I look centered to you guys? I think I am today, because I've been noticing as I watch back the podcast after the fact that I haven't looked like I'm centered on camera. I've been a little bit too far this way. I think what happened is I knocked the camera at one point, and then no one said anything. So I've been askew for a while, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm looking back at all the podcasts like the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, to the side. I'm like, oh shit. I think I fixed it though, so let me know what you think. I look like I'm centered. Parasola said he never even noticed. I'm looking good. I'm a tad bit to the right. Just a tad. A tad. We'll see. Let me know what you think if I'm centered now. Okay, so, first of all, today's my final consecutive streaming day of the week, okay? We got a mix today. We got some chill fun on the first stream, and we got some Street Fighter action on the late stream. So it's a combination today. It's not all action. It's not all RPG. That's always a good thing. I'm excited because today, we're going to continue on with Starfield, which has been good so far. It's been a mixed bag for me, and I'll explain why on this very show. Street Fighter 6 tonight, we're going to be using Luke. I actually watched some Luke gameplay last night from top player Bon Chan, and I tried to learn some strategies. It's kind of hard when I haven't used Luke in so long. I'm watching Bon Chan play, and I'm like, is that the normal I think it is? Is that the move I think it is? I hope it is, because I'm trying to absorb it. If you don't know what input they're doing to do that, it's like, you need that visual recognition, right? Anyway, so, FYI, good stuff coming today. I'm off tomorrow. I come back on Friday with an all-action day of Armored Core and Street Fighter. It's going to be great. Before we get to any of that, special happy birthday wishes for my wife, Kat. It is her birthday today. People had actually brought it up on last night's late stream. Normally, I wouldn't bring it up, but because people brought it up, it's already a topic of discussion in my content. So, happy birthday to my wife. Now, you might say, well, what are you doing for her birthday, right? Well, she already got some presents, and we opted this year that specifically on her birthday, she wanted to stay home and just relax. Why? Well, a couple years ago, we tried to schedule a day out for her birthday. That went horribly wrong. That was the day of the infamous Burger King chicken sandwich fiasco. Yes, it's the 2-year anniversary of that, if you can believe it. It was an awful day out. We ended up trying to go to dinner, and the place we went for dinner didn't even have the food she liked. So basically, it was a horrible disaster. Last year, we still went out, but she decided she wanted to stay local, and we ended up going to a local sushi place she really liked, so it was nice, but it didn't feel special. This year, Starfield is out. she's been playing it ever since it came out on Friday. She got the advanced version. She loves the game. And she said, I would like nothing better than to just stay at home, relax, and play Starfield all day for my birthday. In fact, I don't even want to cook. I said, that's fine. I'll take care of everything. You stay home. You play Starfield all day, relax. I'll order some food for dinner. We'll have a nice, relaxing dinner together. You can play Starfield all day long. And then tomorrow, which is our scheduled day off for the week, we'll go out and we'll do some stuff together. So that's actually what's going to happen. Now, what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm not going to spoil, because I always talk about that on my Phil's Day Off segment of the podcast, which I will tell you about on Friday. So why spoil now when there's going to be a segment for Friday's podcast, right? We actually have some things planned to go on Thursday, but I'll let you know about them when I come back on Friday, okay? But that being said, she's going to have a nice, relaxing day. I'm going to just stream all day, stay out of her hair so she can play Starfield all day, all right? That's what she wants to do. I say, hey, it's your birthday. You do whatever you want to do on your birthday. Sounds good to me. We're going to have some dinner later. What will it be? I'll tell you later. I'm not going to tell you now. And, you know, it'll be a good day overall, all right? So people are saying I should cook for her. I literally, if it's her birthday, I should not be cooking. You understand what I'm saying? She wants good food, so that's why I'm not cooking. All right? Some actually good food that she likes that she's going to have today. So, okay. Now, very good. And I certainly hope that, you know, you guys... First of all, here's what I'll say. Thank you. Last night, some people were very nice. They were wishing her an early birthday. She appreciates that. You know, we don't have too much bleed over of personal to you know, professional life here. But it was nice that people had brought that up yesterday, so thank you to those who did, okay? All right, now, let's talk about yesterday's streams. By the way, I'm number 204 in the queue to talk to a representative right now. I'm still here. I'm clicking to make sure it shows that it's active. Yes, I am 204th in the Sony support queue to talk to an agent to try to get a refund for Mortal Kombat 1. To recap, because if you weren't here yesterday, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So we were talking yesterday about Mortal Kombat 1. And I said, well, I found out, just like with Starfield, if you get the higher level edition, you basically play the game 5 days early. Now, I don't really care from the competitive standpoint. I think it's kind of unfair for a fighting game for someone to have a 5-day head start from everybody else just because they paid extra money. I think that's really dumb. But the thing is, I'm not super serious about the competitive play of Mortal Kombat. However, Mortal Kombat's story mode has been one of the best modes in any fighting game for the last decade. Ever since they rebooted the series with Mortal Kombat 9, it's been an amazing mode. Plus, there's new single-player content they've added to this one as well. So, basically, I was thinking about this. I'm like, man, I would love to play it a little early, get the story out there, maybe be one of the first people to put out a full story mode playthrough on YouTube. That'd be pretty neat, right? Everyone says that the story mode's around 8 hours long, so if I played it launch week, I could get the whole story mode out there before the standard launch of the game on the 19th. So I was thinking, all right, let me get the better edition then. And I went to look, and there's no upgrade whatsoever. I've already pre-ordered the standard edition. That's how I played the beta a couple weeks ago. But there's no upgrade. There was an upgrade for Starfield, but there's no upgrade for Mortal Kombat 1. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy the game twice. I don't need 2 licenses for this game on my console. I'd be throwing away essentially like $70. So what I tried to do yesterday was contact Sony support to try to get a refund for my original MK1 pre-order so I could then use those funds to get the higher level pre-order so I can play the game early. Now, of course, everyone's like, well, you can't technically do that. I mean, listen, every single digital service says you can't refund a game. You realize that, right? It all says in everyone's terms of service, oh, you can't refund, blah, blah, blah. But then they end up having these situations where they allow you to do it sometimes. I don't have no clue if I'm going to be able to do it or not. Some people are telling me, yeah, we've done it before. We always get pre-orders refunded, and others are like, no, they're not going to do it. So who knows, right? All I know is, all I can do is talk to them about it and see what they say. So I could call, but if I call, I'll be on hold for an hour. Guess what I can't do? Be on hold for an hour when I have to broadcast all day. So yesterday, live during the podcast, I tried to use the chat support system to talk to Sony. And 3 times yesterday during the podcast, I got the response, we're too busy right now, try again later. So for a whole 90 minutes that I tried, it wouldn't let me speak to a person. Today, right before the podcast started, I tried. It got me into the waiting queue. It says I'm currently number 186 in line and still waiting. So it's updating slowly. All right, I started as 289, now I'm 186. So it's counting down. So hopefully within the next hour or so, I'll actually get to speak to a human. We'll do it live, and we'll see what happens and see if I can get refunded. And if I do, I will get the better version of Mortal Kombat 1, and we'll play the story early on the 14th as opposed to waiting to the 19th. Now, by the way, I say that, but I'm almost positive the 14th is a Thursday, and as you guys know, Thursdays have been my day off. Yeah. So if it comes to the 14th, I'll probably start playing it that Friday the 15th is likely what I'll do. And go from there. You know, play it like maybe 2-3 days, get through the story within 2-3 sessions. It's probably what I'll do anyway. So, okay. So, that's the deal. We'll do it live. Now I'm 178 in the queue, and it's getting better, so we'll see what happens. All right. Let's talk about yesterday's streams quickly. Then we'll go through the schedule for the week. We've got to talk about game news in a big way because there's big gaming news stories out today if you guys aren't aware. And then we'll do some shout-outs and Q&A and all of that stuff, okay? So, let's talk, shall we? Here we go. So here's the deal. Yesterday, first of all, on the first stream, I played Starfield. And we followed up on what I was doing the stream before, which I thought what I was going to be doing was following along with the story. I had joined the Vanguard faction, and I was actually recruiting Sarah to be part of my crew, our first companion, and we were going out to do this mission for Constellation. But we got completely distracted when we got to Earth's moon, also known as Luna, and ended up investigating this lunar base with a bunch of enemies in it and stuff like that. It was pretty fun. So anyway, had a good time with it. And then yesterday we were following up on that. So basically, number one, we needed to find someone who apparently was missing in the Sol system for one quest. And the other quest, we were looking for the other, well, that's right. We were looking for this missing person because they had a piece of this relic that we had earlier in the story. And it was the next piece of the relic that we were going to add and see what we could decipher from it. On the other flip side, the Vanguard had us doing a mission as well. So there were multiple missions out there in the Sol system to do. So we ended up doing those, which was fun. After I had finished the second Sol system mission, which basically was for the Vanguard, we were on a planet. And after having done, it was about 90 minutes we had done these missions, and I thought they were fine. You know, like I said, the major criticism I have of this game is the graphics. The frame rate chugs along and has some issues, but outside of that, I think the story is outstanding. The gunplay is passable. Sucks that there's no like VATS or special thing because it just feels like very generic gunplay to me. I'm just being honest. But if you like the narrative base of previous Bethesda games like Fallout or Elder Scrolls, you're gonna like the story of Starfield. So I really enjoy getting lost in the content and the side missions and things. So after having completed this Vanguard mission, people were like, so you're on a planet for the first time, why don't you go explore the planet on foot just to see what like surveying is like and stuff like that? And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we start walking on the planet, and immediately I noticed the frame rate's terrible. And I'm like, wow, it's like No Man's Sky all over again. Like, literally, it's like bad performance, just like No Man's Sky when it launched. And I'm already seeing some glitches in the environment and stuff like that, floating items. Oh, boy, right? Remember I jumped on a ship, and my legs sucked through it and passed through it. I couldn't even stand on, like, the top of the ship. It wouldn't work. It sucked me into the item. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So as I'm exploring the environment, I'm starting to criticize the game because the scanning is bad. I'm going to be honest. You're running around, you're trying to scan wildlife. You literally have to be in the wildlife's face to scan it. And when it says scan, you have to press A, but literally nothing happens on the screen. There's no sound effect. There's no visual, like a scan of lasers, nothing. You press the button and it says, oh, okay, scanned, and your percentile of completion for that creature goes up, and that's it. There's literally no recognition whatsoever that you did it. Now, what happens is when you get close to creatures, they aggro to you. So now the creatures want to fight you. You got to murder them. I don't want to murder the innocent creatures of the planet. I just wanted to scan it for research. Why am I murdering all the things around me? Okay? Same thing for plants. You got to walk up like an inch in front of them to scan them, and you have to tediously do this. There's also landmarks, and you got to scan those. I'm like, wow, this is not very interesting. This is pretty boring, actually. So I'm like, oh, here's an element that I need to gather for one of my research missions. Oh, you can't get that. Well, why not? Well, it's a gas, and to capture gas, you need a canister, and you need to build a base to mine the gas. I'm like, wait, what? I can't just mine the elements I want out of the planet. I have to do this giant elaborate system to get gas for research. Why do I have to do that? That's not fun. That's a lot of busy work. That sounds like it's a job. I don't want to fucking do that. I just want the element. You can't do it. Oh, okay. So I continue to search, and as I'm searching, so now I've been walking the surface of this planet for about 20, 25 minutes, okay? I fought a bunch of enemies, I got some resources or whatever. Nothing too great, but it was all right to see what it was going to be if I wanted to actually search these planets. My game freezes. Yes, in 2023, my game freezes just wandering the open world of the planet. I go to reload, oh, the game didn't autosave for 15 minutes. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, so in 2023, you have to actively be manually saving every few minutes you play Starfield, because if the game crashes, it doesn't autosave that often, and you lose a ton of progress. They only had 15 years to figure this out, and they still haven't. Okay? It's still buggy and wonky, low frame rate, choppy, crashing. What the hell? Modern game. Okay? Like I said, this is really my one big criticism of Starfield. Outside of that, I haven't really had much issue with the game engine, with, you know, the story, anything. It's just this game engine is not optimized at all. It runs crappily a lot of the times, and then it can crash your game. That's really pathetic. Okay? Anyway, so after that, I'm like, well, I don't want to go back and do the same shit I just did for 25 minutes. I'm out of here. So I left the planet, and we had actually found, by complete chance, there was a ship that had landed on the moon when I was doing questing there. I had fought a bunch of spacers, and one of them had a random log alluding to some lunar base, or hidden base out in space somewhere. So I'm like, all right, let's go check that out. I go to do it. Oh, it's too far away. You can't jump that far with your ship. Okay, so how do I do it? I don't know, because the game has never really explained this yet. So my chat proceeded to explain to me what you need to do is you have to do tiny jumps. You can jump only from one system to the next system over, and you can do a series of those smaller jumps over and over till you get to your destination. Now, apparently later in the game, you can either upgrade your ship, or you can find a better ship with a better warp core, I guess, or grav drive, or whatever it's called, and then you can make longer jumps. But for now, I'm limited with the starter ship. I have to do these little jumps, little jumps. So what purpose does that serve? Literally nothing. Because I can still go where I want, it just takes more time. It doesn't hinder my progress. It doesn't make it any more meaningful. It's just a bunch of waste of time. So, thanks, Bethesda, for putting in a complete waste of time game mechanic that means nothing. Who cares if I need to do one big jump or several little ones? Besides wasting a few minutes of loading screens, I was still able to get there and do the mission anyway. So figure that one out. It doesn't really seem to me like the whole space travel mechanic was very well thought out at all. It's an afterthought and a way just to fast travel around the galaxy, and that's about it. That's what it seems like to me anyway. So we arrive on this hidden base planet, and for an hour, we do a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of enemies. There's puzzles. It's fun. And after that hour, it was tough combat, by the way. Lots of defensive robots and stuff. We get to the very end, and I was about to get my big reward for completing it, and I ran out of time. Like, an hour of awesome gameplay, and I ran out of time, so I don't get to see what the reward is. So today, that's where we're starting in Starfield. We're going to see what the big reward was for the giant mission of the hidden base that I did yesterday. All right, so I hope you'll join me and we'll see what that is. Apparently there's good rewards in this base from what I'm to understand, and then we'll go from there. What happened is, as I jumped around the galaxy to get to this area where the hidden base was, I had been unlocking other side quests. Okay, so the cool thing is we could go to some of those other galaxies now and try out those side quests if we so desire. Or we could just continue on with main questing. We have 2 new quests. Actually, we have 2 quests we could do for Vanguard, and we have another quest we could do for Constellation, I feel. So we have like all this stuff we can be doing right now, depending on what we feel like doing after I get my loot reward. So let's see what happens, and we'll play it by ear. That's the thing about these Bethesda games. There is no direct right or wrong way to go about them. You literally play them in whatever order you want, and you have fun doing it. And that's one of the best things about this game. It definitely follows that tried and true formula of, say, Fallout or Elder Scrolls, where there's so much content that you can just go about and you can wander around and enjoy at your own pace and just do random stuff. So, by the way, today is the official day that Starfield is out for everyone. It's actually out for anyone who was going to buy the standard edition or who has it on Game Pass. Congratulations on starting your journeys. Perhaps many of you are just starting up right now with your journey through Starfield. I wish you the best, but I'm going to forewarn you, you're playing it on console, you're going to have performance issues. Even on the Series X, I'm having choppiness and performance issues. That's my main gripe with the game right now. I like the story and the mission structures and all of that, and I just don't like how the graphics don't look good because they're so choppy. All right, so we'll see what happens as I continue today. It should be a great stream of Starfield on the first stream. Now on tonight's late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, we're returning to Street Fighter 6 in a different capacity. I have finally reached master level both with Blanca and Honda after a month of grinding on the PlayStation 5. So tonight we are going back and we are playing with the new character, Luke. Luke is a character who, for the very few times that I actually used him in online ranked play on Xbox, I did really well. My placement matches got me into low-level diamond, and even playing entire streams not really understanding the character, I got a lot of wins, okay? So tonight, I have watched some gameplay from Bon Chan, the top-ranked Luke player. I've seen what he does, and I'm going to try to implement some of those strategies tonight as I play with Luke on the late stream. What we're going to do is a little bit of casual play, then the ranked matches the placement matches for ranked, and then some ranked gameplay. So it's the start of Luke in ranked Street Fighter 6 PS5 tonight on the late stream. I hope you guys will join me for that. Okay? Tomorrow I'm off. When I come back on Friday, it is Action Day. First of all, the Level 1 podcast should be exciting because I'll recap what we did as special stuff for Kat's birthday celebration. In addition, anything else that happened on my day off. We'll also be continuing on with Armored Core 6, a game that I've really enjoyed the gameplay of, and I'm liking more and more the further we get in. Looking forward to the conclusion of Chapter 3 and more when we play again on Friday. And then Friday night is Friday Night Fights, Street Fighter 6 gameplay ranked, and I'm thinking maybe we'll do Lily on Friday night. That could be good for variety's sake. Remember, Lily I've been using in the Xbox version of Street Fighter 6 for a while, and then I stopped using her entirely for over a month. So now to go back to that character, I'll probably watch some videos of top-ranked Lilies and what they're doing, and see if I can implement that into my own gameplay. Okay? And then this weekend, we'll have a combination. Starfield on Saturday. Saturday night will be Chrono Trigger. Sunday, the React Show. Probably Sunday night we'll do, maybe, I don't know, Street Fighter. We'll see. Or no, I think Sunday night we're going to do more Starfield. And then we're going to balance it so it's like Armored Core and Starfield on the day streams, and then the night streams will be a balance between Chrono Trigger kind of finale and Street Fighter 6. So that's what we're looking at for the next week. Okay, now, if I can get Mortal Kombat 1 early, because I get refunded for this pre-order, and I buy the higher level one, then I will basically do that, and we'll start playing Mortal Kombat 1 on Friday the 15th. And we'll start doing the story. And every day it'll be like Friday and Saturday story, and then probably finish the story Monday. Try to get through the story of the game within the first 3 streams, and go from there. We'll see. But if I don't get refunded, no, I'm not going to be buying Mortal Kombat 1's better edition and owning the game twice. That's absolutely ridiculous. I would not do that. And so instead of that, we'll probably just keep doing Starfield and Armored Core and Street Fighter and stuff until Mortal Kombat 1 comes out on the 19th. By the way, I believe also Lies of P is coming out around that time too, so we'll have 2 new games around that time of the month, okay? Update, I'm currently number 82 in the queue. 82 people ahead of me before I could talk to an agent. We'll see what happens, okay? Okay, so, all that being said, let's continue on. That's the schedule. And what I'd like to do now, I guess what we should do, should we just go right into news? I think because we have a lot of news to talk about today, we should get into the news segment. We may get interrupted for me to talk to this Sony agent, right? I guess we'll see. Okay. Let's do it. Let me get the news open here. An interesting variety of news right now. All right, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment, DSP News. All right? So, what is going on in the realm of game news today? First of all, we're already talking about Mortal Kombat, and guess what? There is something going on with Mortal Kombat 1 that is suspect, and a lot of people are actually getting worried about. Are you ready for this? So, if you remember, The big reason why I swapped over from playing fighting games on Xbox and to PS5 was because I wanted to be sure moving forward I was playing fighting games on the optimal console for them, and I was going to have the biggest player pool. Now, with Street Fighter 6, the game is completely cross-platform. It doesn't matter if you're playing it on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC. Everybody can play everyone. But it's not like that for other fighting games, okay? Notably, with Mortal Kombat 1, what it said was that they were going to have crossplay, but not at launch. It listed it specifically, like on the website for the game, it said crossplay is coming, but it will not be available for launch. And we had this discussion that if I was going to buy Mortal Kombat 1 and play it, I was going to want to be able to play against the biggest player pool. Case in point, I had the beta, and even playing that on PS5, but connections were not good, right? Can you imagine if I was playing on Xbox, where only about 15 to 20% of fighting game players play, versus 80% on Sony's PlayStation consoles? Can you imagine what that small player pool with the connections would be like? It would be abysmally bad, like super laggy, okay? So, you play on the format with the most players, you're going to have the highest chance of better connections. So we made that decision, right? And we talked about this and said, well, if I switch over to PS5 and there's more players, this might be a better experience. Plus, not only do we have Mortal Kombat 1 coming out, we also have Tekken coming out now in January of next year. So we have multiple fighting games. Again, PlayStation seems to be the premier platform for them. Would make sense to switch over. That's the reason why I switched from Street Fighter 6 from Xbox to PS5, and why I bought this joystick, and I've been using this joystick to play Street Fighter 6 for the last month. I'll continue to use this for all fighting games moving forward, so it's a great way to jump in with a good control system and all of that. So, I talk about all this, and in the last month, since the beta came out, there's been a lot of discussion about the game. Of course, all the fanboys saying the game's amazing, but someone like me, being very honest with you guys, said, wow, I played that beta, and even playing the Mortal Kombat 1 beta on PS5, which definitely would have had the bigger player base, man, those matches were laggy. If you took a look at the average ping, the best ping I got the entire beta was like 62 milliseconds. That's like an average ping in Street Fighter 6. The good pings in Street Fighter 6 are like 18 to 20 milliseconds, okay? The average ping I got in the Mortal Kombat 1 beta was over 100 milliseconds. For those who don't know, over 100 millisecond delay, you cannot react to stuff online. And Mortal Kombat 1, a lot of the gameplay is based on a high-low mix-up strategy, meaning someone is either going to hit you low and then lead to a combo, or... It says I'm still in line, by the way, and I'm still 52 in line, just so you guys know. I'm still following along here. And it says I am still number 52 in line for this Sony chat. Okay. Anyway, so... Hold on a second here, because we got trolls, and I just got to get rid of them. I'm trying to concentrate and tell you guys the news, and the idiots are trying to derail the stream. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Continuing on. So, when the average connection of the Mortal Kombat 1 beta was 100 milliseconds or higher, that means there's too much lag to play the game, right? Mortal Kombat 1 is based on high-low mix-ups. It means that someone either is trying to hit you low and go into a combo, or they make you think they're gonna hit low, so you block low. So then they do a move that's called an overhead, meaning you can't block it high, excuse me, you have to block it high. So if you're blocking low, it hits you, and then they do a combo. So you need to either block high or low and guess, and you need to react to what they're doing. When you're doing 100 millisecond gameplay, you can't react to what they're doing. They're just going to hit you. You either have to be blocking the correct direction, or you're going to get hit no matter what. It's just unfair, and that was the average experience I had playing the MK1 beta. And by the way, I live in the Seattle area. Seattle, Washington is a hotbed for gaming in the United States. Tons of gamers live out here, tons of pro players. This is not like, oh, I live in the middle of the sticks, so because of that, I couldn't find good players with good connections. There should be arguably a ton of people with good connections to me, and there were none. So what gives? So I even questioned it, and I said, man, the MK1 beta is nowhere near as good as Street Fighter 6 right now, because the connections were bad. I'm curious if it'll be that bad when the game launches. So, again, one of the things we've been talking about is the crossplay functionality, right? So guess what's happened? You guys probably didn't know this because it's been very quiet and no one's really been talking about it. in the last week, NetherRealm, the developer of Mortal Kombat 1, quietly removed all information whatsoever about crossplay from all of the places that Mortal Kombat 1 is listed or described. It's gone from their official website. It's gone from the Steam page. They removed all the information as if they never mentioned the game would ever be crossplay. What the heck? People have reached out to NetherRealm and said, hey, what gives? Radio silence. No response. What the hell? So here's what's going on. Here's what I think. They don't know how to make good netcode. They just don't. They, sadly, cannot hang with Capcom right now. Capcom found the formula to make really good fighting game netcode for Street Fighter 6, and NetherRealm tried and failed, and that beta looked nowhere near as good as the betas for Street Fighter 6 or the final product, and they realized if we can't get the netcode to work just on one platform, how on earth will we get the netcode to work cross-platform? You got to tackle the platform specific first before you start working on crossplay. So it sounds to me like they failed and realized, wow, we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so just remove all of that information as if we had never mentioned it. So now can you imagine if I had bought that game on Xbox? I would be playing no one, because they're never going to make this thing crossplay, or if they do, it's going to be so far down the line, no one's going to care. Just so you guys know, when it comes to NetherRealm games, they have a very short life cycle. Here's what I mean. Usually within the first 1 to 2 months, the games are hype as hell. Everyone cares about the narrative mode. Everyone cares about the single-player content. Everyone cares about the online multiplayer. There's usually several tournaments. And that first year, roughly, it gets a little bit of hype. But by the end of that first year, NetherRealm games slowly fade away. Meanwhile, Tekken, Street Fighter, and others persist. They continue to be popular. They continue to be played at a competitive level. For whatever reason, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, and these games seem to just fade away into the background after about a year. So, here's the thing. If they end up getting rid of this crossplay functionality and not putting it in for like a year, no one's going to care. By the time that it gets added, it's not going to matter because the competitive nature of the game will be over and no one's really going to be caring about it. They're going to be selling the game for $10 by the time they add crossplay. Is that going to be an added feature anyone cares about at that point, right? So it sounds to me like, yeah, they screwed up. They were thinking they were going to be able to compete with Street Fighter 6. Then their beta came out, and the beta ran so poorly, they had, hey, everyone, hey, Mortal Kombat Defense Force, you know, all the people who are paid shills for us, please say the game's really good. So they did. Everyone kissed the game's butt, even though there is concrete evidence with those connections. They're nowhere near as good as Street Fighter 6. And then they realized, well, if that connection is bad, there's no way we want crossplay. It's going to be even worse. So just nix the whole crossplay thing for now. We'll talk about it in a year. Yeah, it's pretty bad. That's, especially when it was previously advertised as having crossplay, and I guarantee you people pre-ordered it on the crossplay premise, and now they just removed it all. It's completely gone. And like I said, the worst part is people are reaching out to NetherRealm and Warner Brothers Games, and they are not getting responses. It's just as if they never asked. Like, oh, well, we have nothing to say about that. That's bad, man. That's just awful. And again, already I have a problem with the fact that if you pay early, you can play the competitive game 5 days early. That's giving a head start to people who pay to play early. I don't like that. If I get the early version, I'm doing the story. All right? But I think it's messed up. There's going to be people who are going to have 5 days competitive advantage on everybody else just because they paid extra money. Now you're telling me you're eliminating features you said were going to be in the game. What's next? They're cutting out the story, right? It's like, huh? So no, it doesn't sound good to me. That sounds like a bad idea, and I don't know what they're thinking, but that's what's going on right now, and I hope that they do come out with an official statement, and the statement isn't, oh, by the way, yeah, we're just getting rid of crossplay. That would really suck ass for everybody, I think, okay? Okay, I'm number 5 in the queue for Sony, so I'm going to do another fast news story, okay? The developer or head developer / director of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has come out and stated there are no plans whatsoever for DLC, that the game itself is good enough, and now they're moving on to the next iteration of Zelda, so do not ask for or expect DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. What's out there is that. That's the finished product. Enjoy it, and then they're moving on. Personally, not surprised. They didn't do DLC for Breath of the Wild either, right? So why did anyone think that there was going to be a DLC for Tears of the Kingdom? I don't know. This game engine at this point is kind of tired. I want a new Zelda on a new game engine and new game mechanics at this point. So hopefully they do that. They make a whole new Zelda now from the ground up, and it's not just Breath of the Wild 3. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I guess we'll see what happens with that. I liked Tears of the Kingdom. Of course, I had criticisms of it, but I wasn't expecting DLC regardless. So it's not necessarily news, but it's kind of a confirmation of everything. I'm being told there was a season pass for Zelda. Oh. Haha. All right, I'm in. Hold on. I'm in. Let's see what happens. So it says, thanks for contacting PlayStation. I'm reading your interaction with our online assistant. I appreciate your patience. I'll be working with the PlayStation ID you entered earlier, which I did. I appreciate your patience by waiting in the queue. Rest assured, I'll do my best to assist you. Before we start, please give me your phone number. So I give him that. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see what happens. It's loading whatever this person is saying. All right. So in the meantime, yeah, no DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm being told there was a season pass for Breath of the Wild. Yeah, but there was no story-based content, right? I don't know what the season pass would have been for Breath of the Wild, but the game was the game. It didn't add new story elements or anything, did it, right? Okay, so here we go. Yes, hello and thank you. So I pre-ordered Mortal Kombat 1 on the PS5. However, I pre-ordered the standard edition, not knowing at the time that you could play the game 5 days earlier if you purchased the more expensive edition. I do not see any option to upgrade the pre-order from the standard to the more expensive edition. Therefore, I would like a refund for the standard edition of Mortal Kombat 1, and I will use those funds to then purchase the more expensive edition so that I can play the game 5 days earlier. There we go. I said, so I pre-ordered Mortal Kombat 1 on the PS5. However, I pre-ordered the standard edition not knowing at the time you can play the game 5 days earlier if you purchase the more expensive edition. I do not see any option to upgrade the pre-order from the standard to the more expensive edition. Therefore, I would like a refund for the standard edition of Mortal Kombat 1. I will use those funds to then pre-purchase the more expensive edition so I can play the game 5 days earlier. There you go. By the way, I guess we should... Let's get out of the news desk. The newsroom is abuzz with, like, what are you doing? This is not news. Okay, so let's see what the Sony representative has to say to this. By the way, for the record, that was a 45-minute wait. So thank God that we were actually doing something here. We were doing the podcast. A 45-minute wait in chat to talk to an agent. Can you imagine what the wait probably would have been on a phone? And, like, where would I have had time to do that? And I'm streaming all day, you know? So I'm glad that they have the chat option. What I find funny is that yesterday they said no one was available whatsoever, but today they put me into a queue. Okay. This person says they just want to confirm I'm the first person to talk to them about it. Yes, I am. So I'm just going to go back and forth, a little small talk, I'm sure. And it looks like they're being nice, but they might actually refund it. So we'll see. So let's see that. Okay. So it looks like they're going to work with me, which would be very nice. Now, keep in mind, if I get this other version, we have to play it as soon as I can. And since my day off is Thursday, it looks like I'll start playing it next Friday. And like I said, likely what we'll do is it'll be daytime streams till we beat the story. So probably Friday, Saturday, Monday, because I've heard the stories are around 8 hours long. So it'll probably be 3 streams. So it would be Friday, Saturday, Monday. And then Sunday would be the react show. And then the night streams would vary between other things. Whether it's we do Street Fighter 6, or maybe we forego Street Fighter 6 for a few streams. We do Starfield and other things on the late streams. Right. Now the representative is asking me how my day is going. I told you, they always do this. They're going to give me small talk. They're trying to be nice. There you go. Okay. All right, so are we good? I think we're good. Cool. So as I continue this discussion, we should continue on with the news. So I should go back to the news desk. Ready? We're back to the news desk for more gaming news. All right. The next piece of news, of all things, is regarding the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Very pertinent news. As you know, the Ninja Turtles, the hottest new thing, right? There was a new Ninja Turtles movie this summer. Did you know that? It was called Mutant Mayhem. It was a fully animated movie. It actually had an all-star cast of voice actors. The only problem was, because the strike was going on among actors and writers, they weren't really allowed to promote the movie very well. Like, none of the actors involved were able to promote the movie or go on talk shows or anything and talk about it. So because of that, the movie actually didn't do that well. The movie, everyone who saw it supposedly said it was good, but the movie did not do as well as they had hoped. They thought it was going to do way better, and it kind of just did meh, and now people are kind of upset about that. Anyway, they are making a video game based on it. Okay? It says it's going to be based after the events of that movie, and it's going to be made by a company called Outright Games, and it's coming out next year, supposedly. Outright Games. Does that ring a bell for anyone? Doesn't ring a bell for me. All I can say is, let's hope that it's better than the last Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game from like 2016. Remember when I had KO Gaming? Right? It was pretty bad. Okay, let's see. It says, awesome, I have great news for you. I will process your refund back, to your payment method. You'll receive confirmation email. It may take 1 to 2 billing cycles to post to the statement of your payment method. And they gave me a reference number. Okay, so I will receive an email to confirm when this refund has been processed. And therefore, because here's the thing, I'm curious how long it's going to take. If the refund is fast, that's great. I can get the pre-order for the better edition right away. I mean, technically, we have over a week. So if it comes within the next week, I'm happy. Okay, we'll see what happens, I guess. So they did refund me. According to this, they're granting me the refund for my Mortal Kombat 1 pre-order. That is correct. Okay. No, that sounds great. Thank you very much. So they're submitting the refund right now. I'm going to get refunded. And it looks like we will get the earlier version of Mortal Kombat 1. We'll be playing the story starting on Friday the 15th. Cool. Sounds good to me. The only exception, I guess, would be if it's available even earlier than that. Sometimes the game's available like a day earlier. Like with Starfield it was, and I didn't even know that. But I was off that day anyway. But if it comes out, let's say, for example, they say, oh, it's available the 14th, but technically it's available 5 p.m. on the 13th, then maybe we'll do it as the late night stream on the 13th, that Wednesday. But let's see, because I don't think they've announced that yet. All right, so they're doing it right now. So anyway, yeah, new Ninja Turtles game based on the movie Mutant Mayhem coming out next year, supposedly. Okay? All right, that's it. They're closing the chat. They helped me out. They said they processed the refund. I should get a notice within a few days of an email when it's processed. And once the refund's processed, we're good to go. And then I'm going to get the better version of Mortal Kombat. There you go. Well, it took 45 minutes of waiting in the chat, but Sony gave me what I wanted. And look at that. The bot didn't lie to me and say no one was available. The chat didn't lie and say no bots were available. What a different experience from yesterday. Why? I have no idea. We literally did it at exactly the same time as I did it yesterday. And today it went through easily. And yesterday it was like pulling teeth. Right? You tell me why I had such a different experience within 1 day's time. It's Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. It's not like this is, you know, it doesn't even make sense. So there you go. All right. Good stuff, guys. Sony came through. No, they didn't see the podcast. They don't know anything about me being an internet content creator. Okay. They're claiming that a feedback button will be there to click and give them feedback. Oh, there it is. Give feedback. So I suppose I should give the agent good feedback, right? I'll do it nicely here. I'll actually give them a good rating. Next. Did the person you interact with resolve your issue? Yes. Was this the first time you contacted PlayStation about the issue? I guess the answer is yes. Because it's the first time I talked with someone. The bot, technically, yesterday, I tried to get help and they wouldn't give it to me. But that's not, I think what they're asking is the first time you actually talked to PlayStation about the issue? And the answer is yes. Tell us if you agree with this statement. PlayStation helped me resolve my issue easily. Again, once I talked to someone, yes. Because remember, this is not a rating of the chatbot. This is a rating of customer support. That's what some people don't understand. When you get these surveys, you're rating the customer support. You're not rating the whole automated system. If you give it a low rating, you're hurting the person you've talked to. You don't want to hurt them. You want to give them good ratings if they helped you. So I'm going to say 10. This person helped me right away. No problem. I'm extremely satisfied. And how likely am I to recommend PlayStation products? Probably a 9. Do I have any additional feedback? Sure. The automated bot system is atrociously bad. Once you speak to a human, they are incredibly useful. Just skip the bots, thanks. There you go. Finish. Yay! All right. Very nice. So we're done. It took 2 streams, but we got that done. And I just wait for my refund to come through. And we should be good to go. All right. It's hilarious because you guys use the Karen meme. You do realize that if you don't give actual constructive criticism, companies can't improve. You realize that, right? There's a difference between I'm complaining for complaining's sake or I'm complaining to make them improve. The bot system was terrible. You saw the situation we had yesterday. 90 minutes I tried to talk to someone and it kept telling me, no, we won't let you. Then today I try, it's a completely different experience. So you need to give constructive feedback. I want constructive feedback on my content too. I don't think that people who are trying to give me feedback are Karens. I want real, constructive, helpful feedback so I can improve as well. Okay. Anyway, let's continue on because, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more piece of news to talk about on today's podcast. Okay? Hold on. All right, it's actually saying that they already have approved the refund and they're going to try to do it. So I guess now what I have to do is wait because I paid for it with PayPal, I believe. So I just need to look for that. Yeah, I have to look for that to come through. Cool. Okay. So once that refund comes through, I'll go ahead and I will get the better version of Mortal Kombat 1 and we'll get that started on the 15th. You heard it here first. Okay, the final news story today, guys. I got to give you guys a big heads up. This one will actually directly affect all of us here. Are you ready for this? This is a very important news story, all right? So I received a message this morning from YouTube, okay? This message is in regards, supposedly, to the future of advertisements on YouTube. All right? So basically, here's the deal. YouTube always has given you full freedom to control all of the advertisements that run on all of your content. And what I mean by that is you can choose, it's usually after the fact, by the way, and I should clarify there. If you upload a video to YouTube, you can monetize it. Then once that video has been fully processed, all right, you can then actually specifically choose where and how many specific advertisements you'd like to place on a particular video. Usually, people just let it be automated. I do. I upload so much content. There's no way with, you know, all the content I'm uploading that I could just sit here and hand curate each advertisement and place it perfectly on the video. I allow YouTube to determine where they want to put the advertisements on my content. So usually that's a pre-roll, meaning before the video starts there's an ad. Then usually there's a couple mid-rolls, meaning somewhere during the video by a predetermined, you know, formula or algorithm that runs, it tries to figure out the best places to place advertisements. And then after the video ends, there's usually a post-roll. All right, that's usually how it works. Now on my streams, it's a little different. On my streams, I actually don't control what ads you see, except for when I want to do an actual scheduled ad break. Okay, so for example, when this stream started today, I have no idea if any of you saw an ad. I should ask the question right now. For everyone here, we have over 400 viewers, by the way. Wow, thanks for the viewership today. How many of you saw an advertisement when you turned on the stream today? Did any of you see an advertisement at all? Because I actually don't know how it works. Yes, you did? Yes, you did. You did see one when it started. I didn't. I did. So some people did and some people didn't. Don't know what the criteria or basis for that is, but some did and some didn't, okay? Double M said, I saw 2 identical Walmart ads play back to back. That's just very effective advertising, isn't it? Okay, so then you should technically not see any advertisements on my stream unless I choose to run an ad break. The way it works is there's actually a button on the stream that says insert ad. And when I click it, essentially it'll play like a minute ad on which, if you watch, I make some money. Of course, YouTube makes money on that too. So I should technically be able to control all advertisements during the stream. Once the stream goes offline, usually I do an outro ad break where I'll run a manual ad break as the stream goes offline, and that's it. Now, earlier this year, YouTube tried to sneak something in. They have a new thing that they call automatic ad breaks, okay? Now, the way that this works, it's right here. Automatically place mid-roll ads during your stream. By default, mid-rolls are placed to balance viewer experience and creator revenue. Ads are not guaranteed, and not all viewers will get an ad. Viewers served ads will rejoin the stream automatically after the ads are skipped or ended. Okay? So this is an option that YouTube added out of the blue, didn't talk about it, and it appeared out of nowhere in the middle of the year, and I disabled it because the first day it went, people were saying, Phil, did you know that ads are just playing randomly in the middle of your gameplay? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? So I looked into it, and I found this new option that was on by default, and I was like, why is that on? I didn't turn that on. I want to control ad breaks on my streams, okay? So I disabled it, and now you guys, again, you'll basically just get an ad at the beginning of the stream, ad at the end of the stream, and if I choose to do an ad break, okay? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you, it looks like that might be changing. You ready? I'm reading this word for word, that coming in November, changes are coming to live streams. And one of the major changes that I have noticed, all right, is this. New mid-roll ad breaks for live streams. To help creators earn while live streaming, creators can opt to have YouTube optimize or self-select mid-roll ads to appear at set intervals during a live stream. Before an ad appears in the live control room, creators will see a 60-second countdown with an option to skip that ad. Soon, we're introducing a new delay ads button to delay mid-rolls and live display ads from appearing for 10 minutes. If an ad is skipped or delayed, the insert ads button can be used to manually insert a mid-roll at any time. So from what I'm surmising from that, it sounds like they're trying to force advertisements on streams, that they don't feel like they're making enough revenue on live streams and they want more ads on them. So if they're forcing it, all I can do is click delay, delay, delay. If I notice that it's saying, oh, an ad's going to play, I can try to actively delay it. But I guarantee you what's going to end up happening is I'm not going to notice it all the time. I'll be playing a game or I'll be in the middle of the podcast talking with you guys and one's going to sneak in. And it doesn't seem like there's much I can really do about that. I can do my best to try to put it under control. If there is still the option to enable or disable, I'll try to disable. As I tell you guys, I don't like monetizing you. I like that if someone wants to actively support my content, they will. Whether it's through a super chat, a super sticker, a membership, a gifted membership, or a tip. I feel like if I'm putting out meaningful content for you, you will support that content, correct? So you choose to support, not you're forced to support, right? Particularly, as I've said, when we're here on a live stream, and during said live stream, I'm doing something meaningful. We're in the middle of a big discussion. There's a big boss fight or something going on in a video game. Do you want to be interrupted with an ad? And by the way, when the ad goes away, you've missed what happened during the ad. It's not like the stream's on pause and then it resumes. No, you missed what actively happened during the ad. So you missed whatever happened live when YouTube decided to just play the ad. That's kind of shitty, isn't it? Now, apparently there's other things too. They're talking about optimization of mid-roll ad breaks on long-form videos, right? Basically, here's the deal. I am not going to go out of my way, all right, to mess with advertisements on videos. I'm just going to let YouTube do what they've always done. They're going to essentially keep putting automatic ads on my videos. I'm not going to change that. Just let them place them where they want. So when you're watching my on-demand videos after the fact, a lot of people say there's a lot of ads on them. I don't put those there. YouTube does, okay? I don't have the time to go back every day and micromanage every video and move ads around and delete ads and place ads. I just let YouTube do it with the algorithm, okay? So my apologies if this now sounds like there's going to be even more ads on videos. I can't help that. That's what YouTube wants. And by the way, if you fight against that, YouTube might actually be upset with that. You know, what if YouTube says, well, we determined that your channel isn't, generating any revenue for us, and now we decided, you're not in AdSense anymore. They could do that. You realize that, right? Like, they have the right to do that. So I kind of have to go along with whatever they want. The truth is, none of us know actively how this will affect stuff. This could affect nothing. And maybe everything will just be as it is today. Or it could be during live streams, all of a sudden ads will start playing and I really don't have any control over it to stop it. Or, or maybe I will be able to stop it if I notice it ahead of time, and sometimes I won't be able to notice it. We won't know till these changes go into effect in November. The funny part is it's happening right in the middle of the busy gaming season, right? So I think they're kind of doing this on purpose, right? I totally feel like they're doing it, because they want to make more money, and they feel like they're not making enough profitability on the streams, particularly probably. And they know that, November, December is typically the giant months for YouTube. Everyone's watching stuff on YouTube for the holidays and gaming and stuff. That's why they're doing it, right? So, there you have it. There's not much I can do about it. Sorry. Again, if I have control over it, if I notice, I can opt out. If it says pop-ups, hey, disable the ad, I swear to God, I'll try. But I can't make you guys, I don't want, again, just like usual, I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I don't want to tell you guys, oh, don't worry, I got a handle on this, I'll take care of it. And the next thing you know, it's out of control and it's out of my hands, right? So, hopefully it's not a huge issue, okay? Truthfully, most of the people who are watching my videos on demand already are my hardcore fan base. I don't get a lot of giant mainstream views on any of my content, being honest. So it's not like it's a big deal where people who just happen upon DSPGaming will start watching the videos, see too many ads, and quit. I don't think that's going to happen. I think everyone who's here has already been here for the long haul and likes the content and accepts the ads. The streams are another thing entirely, because as you know, I love to control what I play on my streams, and I can't overall control it if they're going to be doing stuff like this, right? So I guess we'll see. I'll let you guys know, right? As soon as I know, you'll know what's happening with all of this, and we'll go from there. But for now, hopefully, fingers crossed, it won't be a giant change. This is weird. They sent me this giant thing about it this morning, all this information. Even when I logged into my YouTube page, there was a big pop-up about it. And I'm like, well, obviously, this is a big thing. They consider it a big change coming up. They want everyone to know about this. So, yeah, hopefully it won't be a big deal and it won't affect anything and it won't be a ginormous problem. Okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the gaming news segment. So, look at that. Not only do we have 4 gaming news stories, but also we got the pre-order refunded. Well, it's in process of being refunded. I didn't get the money back yet, but it says they did process the refund, and now we can get the better version of Mortal Kombat. I would say that is a very productive podcast today. No matter what else happens on this show, that was a very productive podcast, and I'm very proud of all of you. Thank you so much. There you go. All right. So now here's the deal. Normally, I would say this is the portion of the stream where I do shout-outs. We're going to do shout-outs for contributions. We're going to see what's on your guys' mind today. I'm going to be very grateful, get you guys up on the leaderboard, and we'll go from there. However, I received 0 contributions. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. The day is young. I'm just kind of emphasizing to be silly. But yeah, nothing has come. No super chats, no memberships, no gifted memberships, no tips. Keep in mind, I didn't do my plug segment. Should I do my usual plug segment? Sure, let's do the shilling segment and get out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an independent content creator. I don't have any partnerships, sponsorships, paid product placements. I don't play games for money and get paid to play them. I'm here to make honest content with all of you. I have avoided all of this stuff over the years while all my contemporaries have jumped on the paid advertisement bandwagon. I don't do that. I do it for a reason, because I want to be truthful and transparent in the content that I put out with you. And that's very different from a lot of everyone else out there who makes a living on YouTube. So, if you enjoy the content, please support it in some way. My philosophy is this: if I'm putting out meaningful, fun, and entertaining content for you, you'll hopefully go above and beyond to support said content to keep it as shill-free as possible. Fair enough? So that being said, here's the ways you can support the stream. Liking the streams for engagement, leaving comments on videos for engagement, liking a video for engagement, okay? A super chat or a super sticker during a live stream, a super thanks on a video you're enjoying after the fact watching on demand, becoming a channel member, which is huge. You get so many cool benefits, including a chat crown badge to show how long you've been a supporter, ignoring all the slow mode rules of the chat and being able to talk as much as you want, access to a ridiculous amount of emotes here on the channel. In addition, priority to many different special events coming up. You know, we're going to have all these seasonal events like a Halloween marathon, an Adpocalypse Black Friday marathon, a Christmas event, and you will have priority to be a part of those events, nominate things, and have a good time with all of us here live. It's going to be a great thing if you're a member. So, if you're already a member, perhaps you'd like to gift some memberships to the community. There's tons of people here who would absolutely enjoy having a membership, particularly over the course of this next coming month, because that would allow them to have access to all those fun features when I'm playing all the high priority big new releases. So, either consider becoming a member if you're not one, or possibly consider gifting memberships to the community. All right? Thank you in advance to anyone who contributes in any way. Now also, a tip is a great way to contribute, and here's why. Sending a contribution to my PayPal directly, number one, I get it immediately. It can be used for a bill. It can be used for food. It can be used to buy the upgrade of Mortal Kombat. It could be used for anything. And that's the cool thing, to have that freedom with those funds. Other contribution methods have like a delay before I see anything. Tips I get right away. Number two, I actually get a bigger portion of tips than I do of other contribution methods. Particularly, it's not a huge deal. I say, hey, contribute however you'd like. I appreciate all of that. But since tips are immediate help, I do have reward tiers for tips, like Gunner glasses at 50 bucks. You choose a silly hat for me to wear if we raise $100 during any particular stream, and a vest if we raise 150 bucks. So please consider contributing in one of those ways during the course of today's stream. Thank you in advance. You know, it was great to maybe hit it on a couple different fronts. Some super chats, some memberships, some tips is always good, a good mix, right? Thanks to anyone who contributes in any way. I really appreciate it. Thanks in advance. All right. Now, in the meantime, I did receive a couple of super chats from Dragon Lord Gusidasax. First one says, here you go, Phil. And the second one says, I don't have much left, but I'll give what I can. Again, it's not about one person going crazy. It's never been about that. It's always about the community, right? Everyone coming together. People like, wow, you know, every once in a while I can contribute to Phil and keep him going. That's what it's about. That's why I have longevity. 15 years. I'm still here making this kind of content. While a lot of my contemporaries have had to completely change who they are, change their content. People went from being product reviewers to drama queens, right? People went from being, I play games for passion to I literally only play what people pay me to play. I'm not like that. And I'm very happy about that. I'm proud that 15 years on YouTube, I'm still true to who I am, okay? So cheers to that. And thank you to all the people along the way who have supported me and allowed me to do that. Dragon Lord, right now, you are the person today allowing me to do that. So thank you, Dragon Lord G, for the super chats. I really, really appreciate them. All right, well, nothing else is coming. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to do some open Q&A to see what you guys want to talk about. Tag me in the chat, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion about whatever you guys feel like talking about. Comment Frenzy says, wish chat a happy birthday. I will do that. Thank you. Will I build any outposts or bases in Starfield? Maybe eventually. You know, it hasn't actually proposed itself to me yet. I don't think I'm to that part of the story yet. It hasn't even explained that it exists or how to do it. So I will probably try it eventually, but right now I don't see why I would when the game hasn't even explained it yet and it's not an option. So there you go. Favorite 2D fighting game of all time? Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's an easy one. Do you wish Street Fighter 6 had a story mode more like Mortal Kombat 1? Yes. I'm sad that Street Fighter doesn't try like that. But they never did, by the way. Street Fighter literally has never had a canon story to follow. Usually you have to get pieces of story from the endings of arcade mode runs. In Street Fighter 5, they did release a story mode many months after the fact of the game already being out. And quite frankly, it wasn't very good. So I think that's why they didn't bother with it in Street Fighter 6. And instead they did this world tour, make an avatar be silly style mode. I do wish they had a canon story. I really do. But sadly, they just never went that route. I said I don't like 30 frames per second shooting games, but that's what Fallout is. First of all, Fallout was true. It's true. It's 30 frames per second or lower at launch. But over time, if you haven't noticed, as they remake them for modern consoles, they're 60 frames. They're much better games at 60 frames per second. By the way, Fallout is not a first-person shooter. It's not. It's an RPG with first-person shooter elements, but I like using VATS. I think VATS is the highlight of Fallout that makes it special. I think that's when I say the gunplay of Starfield isn't special. It's because it has nothing special to it. There's no VATS, there's no slow. Even Outer Worlds from a few years ago had a special slowdown mechanic. This game doesn't even have that. It's just shoot things. Okay, I mean, that's one of the basic gameplay elements, I guess, but we'll do it. Shoot things. Okay, got it. Right? So, no VATS, you know. That's what I liked about those previous ones, that they had VATS. It made it special, made it feel different. Hello, Louis Casino. How are you today? Welcome. Oh, let's see. Oh, really? Dragon Lord says if I get further into the story, I'll start getting more combat variety. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. My first tip of the day has come in, and so it is Abraham. Tip $2. Says, do you only do private Patreon reacts once a month? I noticed you did them just recently. Do I have to wait for next month if I would like one done? It all depends. Allow me to extrapolate upon this a little bit. I very rarely address this. I almost never talk about my Patreon. Do you guys even know I have a Patreon? You see what I mean? Of all the people out there who say I constantly talk about income, how little do I actually mention these things? Most people don't even know I have a Patreon, okay? So first of all, I do have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/DarkSidePhil. But I literally never mention it. It's more of a legacy way to support me from people who used to support me back in the day before I became a full-time streamer. Since I became a full-time streamer, most support comes in during streams, so that's what I focus on. Now, if you're interested, you could go check it out. I'll be honest with you. There's pretty much almost no rewards on there. It's not like it used to be where I tiered rewards that were important. Like I said, almost everything I do is focused on streams. But there is one reward tier that still works, It's the $50 reward tier, okay? If you pledge 50 bucks to my Patreon, you're entitled to a private video. Now, this video could be whatever you want. If you want to just talk with me for 20 minutes and do a Q&A, maybe do almost like a private cameo video where I talk about certain topics for you, I'll do that. I actually did that before Cameo existed. I was doing this back in 2015 before anyone knew what Cameo was, and for 50 bucks instead of the hundreds of dollars that a lot of these B, C, D-list celebrities charge, mine's way cheaper, okay? So for a while I was doing that, and people liked it, but then basically when I became an interactive streamer, a lot of people were like, nah, I'll just ask them a question online, okay? So because of that, a lot of the people's interest in that has waned. But then last year, I started doing React content, and some people suggested, hey, why don't you do private React videos where you'll react to a certain topic or subject or video in particular for, you know, a private video? Would you consider doing that on your Patreon? And I said, sure, why not? So for 50 bucks, you basically get about a 20-minute private React video from me. And you can suggest a video or videos for me to watch, and I'll do it. I've been doing this for about a year and a half. I like doing it. At one point, it was very popular, and then it kind of waned, where I guess some people kind of saw what they wanted to see. They're not too interested. I still get a few a month. Like I get 2 or 3 a month where people request this, all right? Now, the way I usually do it is people will want it at the beginning of the month, and my Patreon charges at the very beginning of every month. So a lot of people will say, okay, I want 1 video a month, so they pledge 50 bucks a month to my Patreon, and then it clears on the 1st, and then they send me what they want, and then I make that video within the first few days of the month, and then I'm done till the next month, all right? But if someone was interested in a private React video, say, you know, middle of the month, and they wanted to reach out to me about it, what I would say is email me, darksidefil@hotmail.com. Say, hey, I'm interested in this private React. Here's what I would like. Here's the video or videos that it entails. Please run it by me, especially if it's something that you're not sure if I would be interested in doing. I don't have to accept every private React request. You understand that? So let's talk about it first, determine if it's something I'm interested in, also figure out when I would have time to do it. Because let's say, for example, it's 1 video. Well, a 20-minute video I could squeeze in anywhere, all right? I can do it between a stream. But if you want me to do like 2, 3 videos or an hour or more, then I got to find a time to do it that makes sense. And I don't want to, again, overpromise and underdeliver. I don't want people pledging to my Patreon for videos and then not getting them for weeks and weeks, okay? So please email me if you're interested in something like that. So Abraham, if you're thinking about a private React video, something interesting to you, let's talk about it via email. We'll go from there. Fair enough? Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for even inquiring about it. Almost no one ever does, so it's nice to talk about that from time to time. Okay. So let's see here. I received a $3 tip. Excuse me. I'm still trying to get over some of these allergies I've had over the summer. Hopefully they will, you know, go away in the next few weeks as it cools down. Okay. So listen to this one. Someone named Huge Nips Gamer. No one needs to know about that. Timmy $3 and says, hey Phil, I enjoy your content mostly quietly, though I would like to send something your way. Have a great day, Phil. I hope you'll eventually pick Lily tonight. We're doing Luke tonight, and likely we're doing Lily on Friday. Okay, but it's Luke tonight. That's the videos that I watched. By the way, there's no way I'm putting your name on my leaderboard. So you are HNG with a $3 tip. Thank you so much. So now we're up to $5 in tips today. Oh, Louis Casino, that you're Chris B. What's going on, Chris B? Good to have you here today. Welcome. Okay. Alrighty, so that's what we've got for now. Thank you guys for the early support of the stream before we jump into Starfield here. Parasolo says, do you enjoy listening to jazz? Yes, I do. In fact, some nights my wife and I put on just random music channels on YouTube, and some of the music we listen to is relaxing jazz music. Yes, saxophone and all kinds of stuff. It's good stuff. I think jazz is very good music. There you go. All right. Anyone else have things to talk about? Want to tag me in the chat? If not, we can break early. I got to use the restroom before we start, but we could break early. Let's see here. Oh, this is an interesting and good question. Comet Frenzy says, do you get anything extra for being a patron member? What's the difference between a private React video and an Ultra member submission on DSP Reacts? So first of all, what's extra for being a patron member? It depends. Honestly, basically pledging to my Patreon is just a way to support without being interacting on the stream. So maybe you're someone who watches all my content on demand on YouTube and you just want a way to support, and you know, rather than just watching the vids, pledging to my Patreon every month is a way to do that. That's literally it, okay? Now, the difference between a private Patreon React video and the Ultra member video on DSP Reacts, very different actually. What does he mean? Well, I do a show once a week. It's called DSP versus the Internet. That's on my React channel, DSP Reacts. If you become the Ultra member over there, that's 20 bucks, okay? You're guaranteed to get a video watched once a week on that show. However, number one, the videos are clips, not long-form videos, okay? Remember, on that show, I've got to get through literally 60 plus submissions in 1 week. Ultra members usually have 10 to 15 videos submitted. Although I'm guaranteed to watch the video, I'm not guaranteed to watch the whole thing. A lot of these videos submitted are 20 minutes long, and I watch 3-4 minutes of them, you see? So when you are an Ultra member, you're guaranteed to get part of your video watched, but not the whole thing. If it doesn't interest me, I'm not going to keep watching it. If it's too long, I'm not going to keep watching it, right? That's the deal there. It's a clip show, all right? If you do a private React request on my Patreon, first of all, it's $50, but you're guaranteed that I'm watching the whole thing. That's the point. I'm watching the entire video from start to finish. I'm reacting to the entire thing, and that video becomes your legal property. You have purchased that video. When you do an Ultra member submission for the clip show, that's my property. That's my show. All right? So I'm watching your video, but it's still for me. When you do a Patreon private video, that's your video. I send you the link. You do whatever you want. You can download it. You can re-upload it. You can edit it. You do whatever you want. It's your legal property. You want to upload it to your channel, get views, make money, monetize it. That's your prerogative. You can do that. That's the difference. You're purchasing a private React video on my Patreon. You're basically getting me to watch a video for my own show, and it's not guaranteed to be a full-form React for the React clip show every week. That's very different. Okay. No, I have never been to the National Space Museum. Dragon Lord says, you can buy an insane gun on Jemison. You should get it, 119 damage. I don't feel like I should be buying weapons when I'm finding so many good ones. I found one yesterday. I didn't even realize it had a scope. I realized that at the end of the stream it has a zooming scope. I was like, I have a weapon with a zooming scope? I didn't even know that. I would have been using it the whole time. So now I know I have it. Thanks for the suggestion. I don't know if I'll buy any guns right now. I have so many. Do I like ballistics or energy weapons better? You know, it seems like the ballistic weapons, at least so far, are doing better for me. I have, like, laser weapons in Starfield, but they were not doing that much against, like, robots. Like, they're barely doing any damage. So, right now, the ballistics seem to be doing better. That doesn't mean that won't change, though. We'll see. What kind of pie is Kat's favorite and mine and for her birthday? We don't know what we're getting yet. Tomorrow we're actually gonna go out and buy some kind of a big pie, like a fruit pie, maybe a pumpkin pie for her, depending on what she wants for her birthday. We gotta see what's out there. Personally, my favorite pie is either apple or cherry. I know for a fact she loves pumpkin pie, but she also likes apple. She likes peach. She likes various different things too. So, I received a tip. I've never tried venison before. Radical Jaws. I would like to try it someday. Big Larry Gaming just tipped me $3.01. He said, get that weird name off the screen. Have a great time playing Starfield today. I went to the flea market and picked up a copy of Jet Force Gemini for the N64. Third-person shooter. You are shooting down alien bugs. Pretty fun and kind of gross. Did you ever hear of it? The name I'm familiar with. The game I am not. Like, I never played it, but I've heard that name before. Thank you, Big Larry Gaming. For the $3.01 tip, you are now the top tipper of the day. And you get up there on the leaderboard. Thank you so very much. All righty. Cool. I did not get that spacesuit in the lodge because I'm not going to cheat. A lot of people have found a way to cheat to get it, so I'm not going to do that. By the way, I'm pretty sure I'm about to get a really awesome spacesuit from the mission we just completed, so. Dragon Lord says if you focus on laser weapon perks, the laser weapons will be a bit better. But I suggest sticking with ballistics. They scale much better and don't solely rely on a perk. There you go. I will say this. It seems like with the weapons and combat, it is different from Fallout. Like in Fallout, typically laser weapons are super powerful, and if you invest in them, they become broken. It doesn't seem like that in this game. It seems like the game went in a different direction with what's good and what's not. And that's good. It doesn't feel like you're playing Fallout the entire time you're playing the game. That's a good thing. No, I've never owned an exotic animal like a lizard or a rare marsupial. In my lifetime, I have owned rabbits, hamsters, and a cat. That's it. Thank you, Willow. I will tell Kat that everyone wished her a happy birthday today. Excuse me. What game did I really want but I never got? Excuse me. What game did I really want but I never got? Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. See, here's the thing. Like, back in the day, any game you wanted, you could at least rent. So it wasn't... Maybe I didn't own every game that I wanted, but I still played them. Like, Chrono Trigger, I literally never owned, but I played it and I beat it. You know, I honestly don't think I can even answer the question. You know? Most games that I wanted to own is because they had massive replay value. Like Street Fighter. I wanted Street Fighter on SNES because you could play the shit out of it and have tons of fun with it, you know? You know, Final Fantasies, because you could replay them over and over and love the music and the story and maybe find little nuanced differences and secrets in them, right? Yeah, I can't necessarily think of a particular game that I really wanted and I just didn't have access to it. You know, if anything, though, okay, I can't answer this. In the days of the SNES, the Genesis, there was one console that stood out that was very different. The Neo Geo. Okay, the Neo Geo console was essentially a home console that was identical to arcade games because it was the same hardware at home as was running the arcade games in arcades that were like Metal Slug, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, The King of Fighters, Samurai Showdown. It was the same games. You could actually get them at home, and they played exactly the same. I had a friend who had a Neo Geo, and I couldn't believe it. I went over his house. We were playing King of Fighters 96, the same exact game as it was in arcades, and it played the same, and it sounded the same. I was like, dude, you have an arcade at home. This is amazing. The problem was the Neo Geo was insanely expensive. It cost like, I'm not kidding, like $1,000. And then on top of that, the games were incredibly pricey too. So you had to spend like an insane installed amount to have it. Then it was like hundreds of dollars per game. You had to import the games. You couldn't just get American versions. You had to import the games from Japan. So that I never had. So I never really had that home arcade experience. I either went to arcades to play the better quality or I played the kind of ported versions at home. I never really had that. A friend of mine was very lucky to have that. So that would be my answer. I always rented games from Blockbuster. There was no Hollywood Video near where I lived. We had a Blockbuster that my parents and I went to like I'd say maybe 1 to 2 times a month. Like every other week we would stop by on a weekend to get some movies and a game. Something like that. Have I ever pet a guinea pig? Yes. Our local stores out here sometimes have guinea pigs. And one time they were cleaning the cage of guinea pigs and they allowed us to touch the guinea pigs. They were so cute. They're very silky soft, very cute. Skittish though. They don't like being touched a lot. Like they run away. I received another tip, $3.02 from B-Boy Cyclone. Have you heard of the game Bomb Rush Cyberfunk? It's a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio Future, out on the Switch and PC now, but it's coming out soon. PS5 and Xbox. Did you ever try Jet Set Radio or Future? No. So the answer is no, no, and no. I'm aware of it. Again, it's a series I've heard of. I know that it has a fan base, but I've never experienced or played it. So sadly, I really can't speak to it and say if it's good or not or if it's something that I would like because I've never really experienced it. It's funny. I've been a YouTuber for 15 years, and you guys have exposed me to so many different styles and genres and IPs of games, right? That I never even knew existed. But there's tons to this day that I still haven't been exposed to. Don't you guys absolutely love it when you fully expose me live on stream? It's an amazing feeling, isn't it? To just take Phil and just spread him right out and expose him on stream. Anyway, 672 did a super chat. What is a gaming aspect you missed from the past? For example, mine is midnight releases at GameStop and physical collector's editions for new games. Me? My honest thing that I miss is games not being completely spoiled and or already being all over the internet and well known before they come out, right? Because even back in the day when I started as a YouTuber, one of the big pieces of appeal of watching DSP on YouTube was that I would go to the store either in the morning when it opened or the night before for midnight release. I would buy the game right away, come home, film an unboxing, and immediately start filming and uploading gameplay. I was one of the first people on all of YouTube to cover most video games. And that's how people saw, oh, this is what the game is? Oh, okay, so now based on Phil's gameplay, now we know what the game is and we can judge if it's good or not, right? You can't do that anymore. Every game now pays some special streamer, some special content creator to shill their game. And you can't trust a word of what any of those streamers or gamers do. They're all paid to advertise the game. So they get it early, they're able to stream it early, they make tons of extra money because they have it early, and now everything they say is an advertisement. So these games are literally spoiled all over the internet way early. If you want to play a game on release, you have to fucking hide from the internet for a week before it comes out so you don't know half of the game already. It's pathetic. It didn't used to be like that. Somehow, these game companies think they're selling more copies of games by doing that. I'm sorry, maybe make a good game and sell it on its own merits rather than, oh, I bought a game because I saw Dr. Disrespect play it, right? Or I saw Co-Carnage play it. Or I saw, you know, whoever the hot new game streamer is of the day, the flavor of the day, whoever there was, I saw them play it, so now I'm going to buy it. Instead, make a good game, people will play it and word of mouth will spread, and then people will buy it because it's a good game. Not because some fucking streamer played it, you see? But that changed. That definitely changed over time, and it's nothing like that anymore, where it used to be honest, genuine, day one enjoyment of a game. It doesn't exist. It's sad. It's a whole thing. You know, I used to do release day unboxing. Doesn't exist anymore. Used to actually go in line, get the games that doesn't exist anymore. It's all gone. Because all they want to do is pay for people to shill their shit, rather than make good games. I have no idea what my first midnight release game was. I'm going to guess it was probably a Call of Duty, but I have no idea. I really don't know. It probably was one of the earlier Call of Duty, but Modern Warfare 2 maybe? That big party I attended at the mall? Could be. I really don't recall. Alright guys, I think it is time for us to adjourn. Thank you for those who chilled and supported so far today. We're going to swap over to Starfield for a fun Starfield streaming day. Thank you all for chilling. Thank you for helping me out to understand that Sony refund process. It sounds like a refund's on the way. Not yet. Haven't gotten it yet. But it sounds like it is on the way. And I'm happy for that, obviously. It sounds like we'll be playing Mortal Kombat a little bit on the earlier side, which is sweet. And thank you all. I really appreciate that. And all right. Thank you all for a great podcast. I'm off tomorrow. When I come back on Friday, I'll tell you all about our day out tomorrow, celebrating Kat's birthday, how it went, and I'm sure we'll have news stories and other things to cover. All right, thank you all, and I shall see you soon.